30 projections in 30 days going into the 2024 regular season for the New York Mets as we continue our month-long deep dive into the Mets 40-man roster. Let's go to the Churve Master himself, Joey Lucchesi. In the middle of 2023, Joey Lucchesi made his long-awaited return from Tommy John surgery with a solid campaign, posting a 2.89 earned run average, a 4.22 fielding independent pitching, striking out 16.4% of batters across 46.2 innings pitched. Lucchesi is a soft-tossing southpaw with a quick drop and drive motion that allows him to create deception between his low 90s cutting fastball and his signature Churve pitch, which is a hybrid pitch from high release combining a gyro style of a slider, the drop of a curveball, and the late break of a changeup. The unorthodox lefty is not a flashy pitcher by any means, but he's able to get results by commanding the strike zone at a plus rate. Lucchesi will be entering a 31-year-old season as a rotational depth option for 2024 to help the back end of the Mets rotation with team control through 2025.
Yeah, again, guy battling for that sixth spot. You saw some good results and good ERA in last year, which, again, for a swingman type, sixth starter, it's kind of what you expect. Again, he's not going to ever be a mid-rotation guy. Back-end depth, and he's going to have an opportunity with the Senga injury. He's kind of just a one-pitch guy. He's got, he uses his fastball and slider, but it's all about the curve. So, I mean, he profiles better as a reliever, but again, just the depth in the rotation, they're going to let him be that back-end guy, which is fine. And again, he's better than some guys, but he's the best left-handed pitcher we got, not named Jose Quintana.
I think he's a guy who really didn't get a fair shot last year. I think with the kind of season the Mets had, how good Lucchesi pitched, I thought he should have got more starts than he did. And I think what really stands out to me is like his first game back. I mean, this is a guy who was coming off injury. First game back against the Giants, he goes 7 innings, doesn't give up a run. And none of us expected that on his first start. Nowhere close to that. So for him to just come in first game, 7 innings, bam, especially in a time of the year where, I mean, really the whole year was a struggle for the Mets rotation. But at this point, the season wasn't over yet. And you see a guy come in right away, give you a nice start. And then all in all, he didn't have really a bad start. I mean, he had a couple starts that weren't great, but most of his starts were very solid. I mean, you look even in September, giving you 7 innings, not giving up any runs against the National League champion Arizona Diamondbacks, Tommy Pham and the boys, getting that done. I just felt that with how poorly the year went for the Mets, had pitchers out, gave, trade guys away, things like that. I thought he should have got more starts than he did because when he was on the mound, he was pitching well. And like Andrew said, being left-handed, having that curve, like he's a guy that he could start or relieve because of the stuff he has. But I think that now he's a guy that, I'd give him a fair crack at that 6th spot in the rotation. I think especially with the Senga injury for right now, there is another opening in that rotation. So if everyone has to move up one and Joey slides into number 6, I'm not totally mad at that. I think he's a guy that he could be your 6th starter, but if you're having to skip a time in the rotation, you need him to be in the bullpen, but still be on the active roster. I think he could serve both of those roles and do a fine job at it. So he's a guy that, I like the trade when the Mets made it because of all the service time that he has. He has so many years where he's just under team control that, it's not, you don't always get that. Just a left-hander who is solid and you have for a long time at a low cost. So he's a guy that has a lot of value. So he's someone that I really want to see get a fair chance this year, especially, with the expectations not being crazy for the Mets. And so I do want to just kind of see what he really is by him getting a bigger sample size so that they can kind of determine what his future is going to be.
I mean, I'm a little bit personally lower on Joey Lucchesi going into this compared to a lot of people. I mean, obviously they have a good taste in their mouth of what they saw with Joey Lucchesi last year, obviously giving them some decent results and giving them a decent sample of getting some decent starts, maintaining a little bit of consistency when the rest of the rotation was not able to do that. I just don't really see this really holding up that well. Very tricky with this guy's wind up. Maybe at one point he's just not going to have it, and then maybe at one point he will. I mean, again, he's a back-end piece to this rotation, so I'm not expecting much, but I'm not really as high on Joey Lucchesi going into this, and I'm sure you'll see with these projections. The thing is that I just like strikeouts, and he doesn't really have the strikeout stuff, and that's kind of what I want to maintain some consistency out of the Mets rotation, and I think that he kind of just has the lower hand on that, but he definitely deserves a chance in spring training, and that's just, of course, again, I think that, you know, we've talked about what his role is going to be. When he came back from injury last year, he did get a decent amount of starts. You know, you could say that he didn't get, you know, the fair chance or whatever. He's a very replaceable arm, whether he did pitch well last year or not. You know, you're going to get a sample from him, whether it is coming out of the bullpen or giving you some bulk innings or whatever, because he does deserve that because he did pitch well last year. Just don't really think he's that great of a pitcher, and that's just me. But at this point, you know, Joey Lucchesi, a solid depth piece to this rotation, and that's all we can ask for him to be. Start in a pinch, spot starter, whatever. So as for my projections for Joey Lucchesi, I just want to let everybody know projections are not predictions. They are benchmarks of the player's current specific percentile outcome based on predictive data and results. For my projections, I decided to use, in my opinion, each player's 75th percentile outcome, although a majority of player projections are constructed from the player's 50th percentile outcome. I personally wanted to use a median between sustainability and upside. It also helps everybody identify pretty easily who I'm high on and who I am low on. 52.1 innings pitched, striking out 19.3% of batters, walking 9.9%, a 4.82 earned run average, a 4.45 fielding independent pitching, an even 1 home run per 9, and a 0.5 wins above replacement.
That's pretty close to what he's been his entire career. So, you know, I'm not going to say, you know, one way or the other that's, you know, like out of this world. Home run numbers, again, similar to where he's been. So it's nothing like totally out of the ordinary, like one way or the other. So, you know, I'm good with it. Again, he's another guy where we're not exactly sure what his role is going to be, if he's going to even make the opening day roster. Like he might not because of the Sanger injury, but I think this team fully healthy, it's like he is battling for a spot to even be on the team. So that's why you can't really have too high projections for him when you don't even know if he's going to be on the team.
Especially with the Mets injury history, and even Lucchesi hasn't been injured in the past, so I guess that is kind of a steady baseline. To go off of a 5 ERA is kind of a little disrespectful. Did you not see his ERA last year? It was very good. But again, he's a back-end guy who has the ability, like we said, maybe if they are healthy, and let's say some of the young prospects step up and have provided more, you could swing him into that bullpen. And maybe have a third lefty in the pen, or kind of the Trevor Williams third swing man on the back end of the bullpen. We're talking about mid-rotation guys, you know, nobody exciting. Nobody to go home, you know, crazy expectations for Joey Lucchesi. You know, you'd hopefully see more of what you did last year. But again, what he really is just another kind of depth starter, potential slinger.